Hello, wrestling fans. I'm Shane Shadows, and welcome once again to Shane Shadows Presents Classic Indies, some of the great independent wrestling action from all over the world, as my tagline goes, for the last 30 years and beyond. And this time, we're going even further back. I found this on YouTube, and I just wanted to have the great opportunity to plug this because I love the idea. There's so much great talent that has passed through the small promotions, even back then. Unaffiliated with the National Wrestling Alliance, not affiliated with the American Wrestling Association or the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, which are the three major offices in the United States. This is a small outfit that was based out of Nashville, Tennessee, and was owned and partially owned and operated by one of the legendary professional wrestlers of all time, none other than six-time World's Heavyweight Champion, the great Lou Thesz. This is the Universal Wrestling Association, the original broadcasting. If you want to throw up the, you want to throw it up here, Frost. Yeah. Original broadcast date, May 1, 1976, out of WTVF television in Nashville, Tennessee. Let's roll the tapes, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get some of this exciting action from the UWA. And here we go. Buddy Lee Attractions. Of course, Buddy Lee was a very famous promoter of country music and women's wrestling. I love this. And Buzz Benson joining the former World's Heavyweight Champion at the commentary booth. There's Lou.
Welcome to UWA Wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. We have some great matches in store for you today. We'll have our first match right after this.
Lou was not a man of many words, but let me tell you something. Lou would twist you in a million knots. One of the toughest of all time. Six-time world. Okay, here's a little commercial placement here for the local sponsors and so forth to get in here. Big part of the television of wrestling back in those days was selling the commercial time.
Time for action, so let's get up into the ring.
It's time now for UWA action. This match will
Is this
be one
Buzz Benson, you
with
think?
a 15-minute time limit.
Good voice. I like that they have the blazers with the logo. I think that's great.
At 235 pounds
and
from the Tar Heel State, Belton, North Carolina, terrific Tommy Ziegler.
Tommy Ziegler, veteran pro. I got an 8x10 of him.
In the corner to my right, weighing in at 230 pounds from the Sunshine State of Florida, Sarasota, beautiful Bruce Swayze.
Beautiful Bruce Swayze, also known during the 1970s at one point as the manager of Hartford and Reginald, the Love Brothers, who were a big attraction, especially in the Toronto area. And the bell's gone.
Muscle man, but he did not neglect his wrestling.
By the way, I think
This
it
should
was a
prove
shot
to be a
again.
very, very interesting match.
Those ropes have stars all over.
Both these
Yeah, they do.
contenders,
The ring
I
looks
think,
great.
will evidence that in their work.
Collar elbow lock up here. Ziegler with a nice takedown on Swayze. Now remember that the established quote-unquote office of the NWA based out of Nashville was run by Nick Goulas, who was one of the all-time legendary promoters. Had a
Bruce Swayze, the beautiful one.
had a territory that stretched from Alabama through Kentucky, Tennessee, all of it. He was a big promoter. They were running sometimes 3 and 4 events a night. That's how big the Goulas operation was. That was who ultimately Jerry Lawler started with, and ultimately Jeff Jarrett's dad Jerry broke off away from him because he was promoting with him as what he thought was as a partner, and ended up taking over Memphis, and was so successful in Memphis that within a couple of years he basically put Goulas out of business. And Goulas had been in business since the 1940s. Wrenching up that arm is Tommy Ziegler, the veteran pro from North Carolina.
I can't get over this old studio style wrestling, by the way.
I love this. You haven't watched a lot of this stuff, have you?
Yeah, no, I used to watch.
Over to the ropes now. We need a blade.
George
Well, knowing
Championship,
Ziegler, he'll give you a clean break, and he does. Now, I'm not too sure
Oh, okay.
about Swayze.
Yeah, you're older, mate.
Now,
I like to think you are. So you do remember
You're
some
right,
of
but
that.
Swayze has been known to.
And look how good look how good condition
They lock up.
Bruce Swayze is. Good body, good tan. The gear looks good. The ring looks good. The camera work is good. But this is a startup. Remember,
Plenty of people there too. Like it's,
Hair pulling.
yeah. And they're probably shooting this like on
Ziggler
a
probably
on,
would
on a
like to,
Wednesday
use
afternoon or
their
something.
time
I
here to get out
mean,
of that, but Swayze,
people used to
who's,
skip
pretty
school
good
and stuff and
wrestler,
skip work to go down and
got the
see
leverage,
the wrestling
moved out
matches
of
get
the
recorded
range
and
of
so
Ziggler.
forth.
Now Ziggler is down.
Because it was
Swayze's
just
calling a
back
whole
then
lot
it was
of
so
that
much
hammer
more
lock.
a part of the
Trying to
local
lie on a hammerlock.
flavor
When you lie
and
on your
fabric
hammerlock, when they have it on you like that,
as opposed to
you
now
take the
where
heat off of it. You
everything's
can't
so
push it up
big.
as
It's
far as
Ringling
an arm
Brothers.
could.
It's the
Plus
Globe.
the fact that see
It's
the
the
bridge
big.
there, and you notice how
But
he
back
rolled that
then,
shoulder up
wrestling
because
was
the
like
referee was ready to
regional,
get
and
that
it was such a
entire
part
count.
of
And
the
you've gotta
local
have a
area.
strong neck to be able to bridge up like that. There he is, bridging again, getting that shoulder off the mat. Now
Good,
he's
solid,
actually
basic wrestling action,
trying to
which
bridge
does
right
not
over
surprise
on
me at
top
all.
of
Luthez,
Swayze.
even when he was world
Can he do it?
champion, made certain demands.
Yes,
He would
did.
never appear.
Swayze still holding on. And the count is going to go on
Rolls
Swayze.
him back over.
By the
Back
trunks.
into the hole. Oh, he's always got the trunks. Swayze, again, notorious for his rule-breaking style.
He didn't see that. BJ was
I
watching
believe
and
Bruce
trying to get in
Swayze's still
position for a
alive.
possible count. And
I
so
believe.
Mr.
I know
Swayze
he
got
was
away
on
with something
Facebook.
there.
We might have to look him up and just see for
Ziggler
sure.
will try to
Looking good, though. Kind of puts you in mind of Angelo
There's a
Poffo.
beautiful shot of him getting out of it, and Swayze
There was
still
something I was
holding on
starting
that
to say here,
hammerlock.
and I
you can see
stopped.
the
Oh,
referee
Lou.
trying to
Lou
check the
Thez, when he
shoulders.
was world champion, NWA champion, he had
Swayze
certain
could
demands
possibly
when he
be
went
defeated
in
with his
to
own
wrestle
holding
for each
was.
regional promoter during
There
his
you see the referee digging right
his
down there.
tours of that particular
He
region,
grabbed
and
those
one of them
tights
was
again.
he would never
Again, the
wrestle.
referee didn't see it.
He refused to wrestle
Our
on any card that had
Insiders saw it, and
women,
they are trying to help the referee
midgets, or animal
But
attractions.
McElwee
Like,
was right on the
so
ball.
if there was the
No
wrestling
wrestling
bear,
bear, yeah.
he was insistent that the
Count
world's
two there.
heavyweight
There's another
championship
shot,
be
Thomas
held to a
Ziggler.
certain standard. And
Nice
you
looking
know
guy.
what?
Excellent
In
wrestler.
retrospect, I almost kind of wish that everybody had that
Count
same
got
type
the
of
two. He rolls
respect.
over again.
You know, he was a very
Swayze still
serious-minded
holding
guy
on.
during a time that when
Now, both these
when
athletes
people
are
were
in the prime of their
obviously
lives. You're never
less
gonna be
than
better than
open
they are
about
right
what the business was.
Hey, he grabbed that hair now.
Or
we
when it
saw
becomes
and
Ziggler
so
tied
did
up in the
our
ropes
referee,
here.
And he says, come on, break it up. Well, Mr. Swayze.
Oh, cheap shot on the way up. Cheap shot on the way up by beautiful Bruce here.
There to hold on to that hold, grabbing the tights in the hair, but the third time he tried it, he went to the well once too often. Ziggler's a little upset, and well, he should be. And the referee says, "Open up the fist." Now they
Very,
lock up.
very aggressive
They broke
referee. I
him
haven't caught his name if they've mentioned it,
By
but he's
Swayze.
You know,
trying to
as a
be there. He's trying to be
matchmaker,
there.
What I really attempt to do is match them as evenly as possible, which is many times difficult to do. But this certainly appears as if it's going to be an evenly matched match.
Oh, hey, a little knee.
Also
play off the
appearing
ropes
here in
there.
the UWA during this time was
Right.
the Islanders tag team managed by the legendary Saul Weingroff. The Islanders, Afa and Sika, who later became better known as the Wild
Right down to that
Samoans.
shoulder, and he goes right back to that.
Bruce
hammerlock.
Roy wrenching this arm up on Tommy
Looks
Sigler
like
here.
beautiful Bruce Swayze from Sarasota, Florida, feels as though he has found a weakness in the armor of Tommy Sigler.
So they got a good
And he has
TV
been
production here, but I mean,
really
again,
applying
they're
pressure.
UWA here going up against the established Goulas Lester Welsh wrestling office that had been promoting Nashville and the surrounding areas since the 1940s. Even with the credibility of Lou Thez, the long-term prospects of this organization, it didn't last terribly long, as far as I know. I wish I had this ring. This ring looks fabulous.
Yeah.
I love the way this ring looks
Got
with
that
the
hammerlock
turnbuckles,
on
with the
Tommy
logo. I mean,
230
before their time.
Swayze,
Really, I mean, a lot of guys didn't do that back then.
This thing probably never left the studio.
Still has that hammerlock on.
I don't know about that. I
Sigler?
think that it probably did
Now Sigler
do some house
desperately
tours.
trying to
I also have a
get
Samoans
this.
8x10 with
Swayze
Saul
has
Reingroff. Actually, I got
the
two of them.
offensive, in
One of
this
them that
match.
has the
He's been all over top of
UWA
Sigler.
logo on it. So I got some pretty some pretty offbeat
He's prone to
collectibles
use
when it
some
comes
of
to
those
wrestling
offensive,
stuff.
the
There's,
opportunity
obviously, the
to
wrestling
present himself,
style,
and
as we
hides it
mentioned, very
well.
basic
He always
and
doesn't wanna reveal
fundamentally
the
strong.
There's
And I'm
the
sure
hammerlock.
that's the Lou Thez
Arm coming up towards
input
the
here.
small of the back. Hair pulling. Everybody yells about it. The count got to 2. And
But
again,
you can
cannot
also
fault
see how
the
simple it can be to
referee.
get things,
Over in the
little
other
things
side,
that's
he
like
can't
hair
see
pulling
that.
over
And
or
this,
trunk pulling over.
Swayze, he's
When you have a good
Funny.
basic fundamental wrestling
able to
match and then
camouflage
someone does
most
something
of these illegal tactics.
questionable
Got
or
it to 2, and
illegal,
boy, Tommy
the crowd
really
reacts
did
to it
a hurry
automatically. But if
again.
you're doing
Swayze
everything
hanging
in the
on.
world, you're hitting each other with
Rolling over the ropes
sledgehammers
now. We need a break here.
and everything
Let's see
else,
what
it's
Swayze
harder
does.
to get the crowd to react to simple little things. Now,
Kicks that shoulder.
Swayze putting the boots
Really
to
trying
Sigler,
to put a chink in the
and now
armor.
he's probably pushing his luck with the referee a little bit here.
Camera really caught a good shot.
There's a loaded knee there with that knee thing, that knee band on him. I don't know what it's, if he has a bad
Oh,
knee or
big
if he's-
forearm.
Smash there.
Maybe didn't have as much behind it as it could have.
They swap
Got a little bit
smashes.
more on that one.
That last one.
Oh, and a back elbow, and he's got Swayze rocked here now.
ropes. He comes in, gets another elbow.
Fire it in there. Oh, dropped him with that one.
Those
Swayze taking a scoot.
And Mr. Swayze.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're building up here. We're probably days away from Christmas as we speak now. Happy holidays from the Independent Rewind and Shane Shadows presents.
Sigler favoring that shoulder. You can see him over there on the...
Swayze back into the ring here now. Coming on in the coming weeks here, lots of exciting wrestling action from not only the 1970s, digging back. Thank you to anybody who posted this on YouTube, and the quality of it is outstanding. You know, this is like almost like came off master tape, so thank you for that. We love to feature anything pro wrestling related, you know, and once in a while we break our own rule. We've done matches from the NWA and so forth like that, and
in the early part of this match in that lockup, and he's been beating Swayze to the punch. I should say Sigler to the punch. And speaking of punches, I knew that was coming, and the referee.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, that one came from Sunday. Yet another one.
He sure does throw them in there.
Sigler
trying to keep that arm, tangle that arm up.
Oh, that doesn't do that arm any good at all.
We want to. Special announcement here early on. We want to go ahead and invite you folks here in advance to join us on Saturday, February the 5th, as Championship Pro Wrestling presents Winter WrestleFest at the Rankin Physical Fitness Center in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. Ladies and gentlemen, quality professional wrestling returns to the Berkeley Springs area after a long absence and a couple threats. Swayze with a right across that arm. But yeah, some of the great action. We're working actively on signing up some of the top talent as Championship Pro Wrestling heads towards its 25th anniversary, and Shane Shadows heads towards his 30th anniversary. It's a big year in my house. A big year. Look at these two slugging it out. Sigler firing one in off the ropes. We're going to have an outstanding card for you on Saturday afternoon, February 5th. Big Irish whip. Swayze tangled up in the corner here, and the crowd loves it as Sigler has finally had enough of his questionable to downright illegal tactics. But the referee trying to keep him from proceeding on.
He stays in there all the way.
I don't think Swayze can get himself. Oh, okay, yeah.
Has to get out of that. Does the referee wisely?
And look at the crowd. Old guys, old women, young kids. Just such a great mix. Everybody having fun. Very diverse crowd, and they're all relatively well dressed.
With a lot of illegal tactics as he has to himself.
If you look through them, there's not many just old. Like we've become like a T-shirt society. We really have.
Swayze's plan backfired when Sigler.
Real lack of formality, but back then, I mean, and even before, like in the 50s, did you ever watch those black and whites? Everyone's sitting there wearing a tie.
For each other, and that should be.
These guys are really digging in here. What are we, about 10 minutes in?
Example of that right there. 13. Hey, grabs this time Sigler.
Nice takeover by Sigler. The crowd loves it. Headlock takeover. Bam. Hey,
very appreciative of Tommy Sigler. Very popular.
Very popular young man. Wrestled all throughout the Nashville area, and actually, I think I got the photos of him and the Samoans and Sal Weingrove. I think I got them from a cousin who lived in that area during that period of time.
You know, we don't have just one. We have two. We have three great athletes in there tonight. That McElwee himself is some kind of an athlete. So we have all three of them. Great conditioning. All three.
I think you just mentioned the referee's name was McElwee.
Now let's see what Swayze can do here with Sigler.
Is that McElwee?
Maybe I should say in this case he's got.
Or McElwee is the last name. Who knows? We're good. Referee's McElwee.
Hair pulling.
Yeah, Swayze trying to get into the hair here a little bit. He's trying to make sure, again, trying to make sure if he's down, count him out.
As soon as the referee gets over there, Swayze will let loose.
I am so impressed with this from a production standpoint and the quality of the film for what is it now? 46-year-old stuff.
That headlock really clamped on.
This is our oldest match appearing here on Classic Indies. Big tackle from Sigler. Drops Swayze. Step over. Look out. Hip toss. Kick him off. Kick him off. Oh, ref barely got out of the way of that one. Back to that headlock takeover. These two are having a heck of a wrestling match.
No, he's a long distance man.
Heck of a wrestling match here. Is a very nice representation of the action that the UWA was trying to bring fans in the greater Nashville area during the middle of the bicentennial year, 1976.
Headlock applied there by
I had just
Tommy
turned
Sigler.
4 years old, ladies and gentlemen, and not
So
yet been
far,
introduced to the great sport of
Sigler
professional
seems
wrestling.
to
Frosty
have
was still a
recuperated from
thought.
Very slow start. Swayze very much in command the early moments of this match.
Love to hear from any of you who might have been
Now Swayze
fans during
finally
this
saw
era.
through any particular
Some of the
means
older
to unlock
fans, like
this headlock.
for example, my dear friend Stafford Horetz, who is watches the show
He has
on the
Sigler,
regular.
but
Stafford, I'd
whether
like
he
to
used
say hello
the
and
lights, I
welcome
don't know.
once again in.
He's
If
doing
you're already a
something down
subscriber, thanks. If not, please join up.
As
I
you
know I
can
send you
see,
the matches as regularly as I can remember, and I hope you watch them
showing
even when I
some
post
pain.
them on my own Facebook page. Florida guy, Stafford Horetz was. We used to talk about championship wrestling from Florida and some of the greats. I think probably both of these two may have passed through
We
there
have
during
2
that
minutes
particular
remaining.
time. Big
There's a
tackle.
football.
Oh,
He
step
leaped
over.
in, grabs that headlock and takes him right
Back to
down
that
again.
headlock. We're sticking with that headlock.
That's
It's
Tommy's right on.
a good formula for success here for Tommy Sigler. He's dominated a lot of this matchup. I would say that at the vertical
been a
base,
great
Swayze
match,
has
guys.
controlled
Really
this match,
enjoyed
but
this
down
one.
on the mat, I'd say Sigler has controlled this match. It's been even.
All right, my timekeeper tells me that we're showing 1 minute left on this
Oh.
15-minute time limit there. So one of these two grapplers are going to have to come up with something here. Less than a minute.
Well, this is about the time they'll try for a quick pin.
Headlock still applied by Sigler. Good shot of the headlock there. Notice how those hands are clamped. He whips him out. Oh.
Well, we're under a minute here. Swayze's
Swayze's
going for it. Nobody home. Nobody home there. Beautiful Bruce landing on the.
Gonna roll him over. Time for that pin.
Did he get it?
I
No,
don't think he did.
he didn't. Bruce kicked him off. Now Bruce just trying to catch his breath and lay on him a little bit here, just trying to put it in.
Pin there. Both men
To the
trying
bread basket out of the
as
back of
Bruce
the neck.
said,
That hurts like a son of a
finish the
bitch.
other
Getting hit in the
opponent
back of
off.
the neck there's nothing worse than
We're
that.
getting down to the final seconds now.
Final seconds are
Swayze.
remaining in this
About
matchup.
10
Finish
seconds
him
left
off
in this
now.
match. Down to 5 seconds. So, unless something happens here, it's going to be it.
Now that's it. Time has
Great
expired.
match, ladies and gentlemen. I really enjoyed this match.
these
Swayze
two
has
men are
a lot of
having it.
technical fortitude. A couple of real battlers. Great wrestlers also. This is what wrestling is all about.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the expiration of the 15-minute time limit, no falls recorded. The referee's official decision, a draw.
A draw. Swayze wanted his hand raised as a token of victory here, but that's a draw, and that's where we're going to have to cut it off here. A great week of action from the UWA in Nashville, May 1st, 1976. And we're going to be back in coming weeks with more information, not only about Winter WrestleFest on February the 5th in Berkeley Springs, but more great independent wrestling action as you've known to come and love. I'm Shane Shatters, and we'll see you next time.